Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 24th of September. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Darren Krongold.
And Doug, as you're affectionately known, Doug, good to have you back on GPTV.
It's great to be back.
You got good feedback last time you were on.
Thank you.
People said you were great, and when will you be bringing the Dougster back? So you're back on GPTV. What an amazing week that's just passed. We're well into the spring selling season, and Melbourne has just finished, Darren, another almost 80% clearance rate.
Big weekend.
And whilst we're trying not to talk about the boom, it's starting to feel like that might be coming, because 80% clearance rates are really indicative of a very strong market.
Very good.
Now we're at number 2A. We're at number 2A Oak Grove in Caulfield, which is one of your listings, Doug. Tell us about this fabulous property.
This is a fantastic home and house that offers great light. It's just a sensational 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, beautiful polished floors. Everyone who's walked in here is just overwhelmed by the presentation. So
now, Doug, this is the first time that I've been in here today, and I walked in and had a look around, and I thought this must have been a couple of years old. Now you're telling me this is 10 years old.
Amazing, but it's 10 years and you just get blown away. High ceilings and the presentation just blows you away.
Well, I've got to tell you this, viewers, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on a small parcel of land, this has got to be the one to come and have a look at, because I thought it was brand new, and I've been doing this a while. So let's talk about the weekend, Darren. Sure. Right across Melbourne, people were out there bidding, reserves were being beaten. We had a mixed weekend this weekend, so we passed a few things in. Having said that, we passed a few things in which I think will be sold very quickly after auction. Right, yeah. And I think let's just talk about, for the viewers, this whole passed in concept, because when you look at Melbourne having sold 80% of properties, that means 20% passed in. But if you think about that, of the 20% that were passed in, if you use that as an example for us, of the properties we pass in, about 90% of the properties that we pass in are sold within about a week or two.
Absolutely.
So
they don't last long.
If you looked at a auction campaign saying the 4 weeks that the property's on the market, plus 2 weeks after the auction, so if you called the auction campaign 6 weeks, you'd find that there'd be a clearance rate in Melbourne of, I reckon, probably somewhere in excess of 95% of properties sold at auction, before auction, or within 2 weeks after.
Absolutely, and it's a great example. I mean, August, if you look at it, we've only got 3 left, and 1 will probably be sold tonight or tomorrow. So you're looking at a whole list of 45 sold in August. You've only got 2 hanging around, and they'll probably be sold in the next week. So still selling stuff from the last couple of months, and still moving stock from the last week or so are going out the door.
So Darren, let's talk about this weekend, because this weekend the market goes into almost close down again this weekend. Not only do we have the Melbourne Cup weekend coming up, but of course it's grand final weekend this weekend.
Big weekend.
We've only got one auction on this weekend, which is a property in Latrobe Court. I think you know the address there.
Yeah, 2 at 32 Latrobe Court in Caulfield South. That's a beautiful, there's 2 on the block there, single-storey unit, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathroom, brand new, very private. And just beautifully built.
So that's one auction for Gary Peer and Associates this weekend. Goes to show what the grand final can do to Melbourne. And let's talk about the grand final, Dougs. What's your tip?
Hawthorn.
By how many goals?
I'm going to say 3 goals.
3 goals, okay. Well, I'm hoping, not that I have anything against Hawthorn for all our Hawthorn supporting fans, but I'm hoping to see a bit of an upset. How good would it be for football? Wouldn't be good for Melbourne, but how good would it be for football to see?
No, we want to keep the cup in the state.
I know we do, but how good would it be for football to see them take it?
Well, that's what the AFL put all that money in for, and brought Fremantle in. That's what they want. They need another interstate grand final.
Now, speaking of interstate. And what's interstate got to do with the next caption? Well, where is Gary Pearson?
Yeah, where is he again?
I mean, we know he loves his holidays.
Loves them.
In fact, we rarely see him at the office these days. Nah. But on the occasion that he is, he does do some work.
He does
but
a little bit.
Where is he? He is interstate.
Yeah.
But the good news is he's actually interstate working. And I'm very proud to tell our viewers that our partner, Gary Peer, was invited to a conference to speak. This is the Best Practice Conference. It's an annual conference where real estate agents from right around
Right.
Australia, from New
Queensland.
Zealand, and probably some other Asian Pacific countries
That's right.
come together to talk about real estate and talk about the best practice of real estate.
Yep.
So this is a conference, annual conference. Now, coming up in a few moments' time, Darren, we've got the last of a three-part series, which is our president of the Real Estate Institute of Victoria, Enzo Raimondo.
Yep.
We filmed some weeks back where we had episode 1, 2 and 3. So we've got episode 3 coming up. So thanks again for watching GPTV. We hope that you enjoy the last segment of Enzo's talk. And certainly we look forward to seeing you next week after we report from the grand final weekend, where I'm not sure there's not going to be all that much to report. So thanks again for watching. I'm Philip Kingston.
I'm Darren Crongold.
Enjoy the third part of Enzo Raimondo.
Another big question, big
Yeah.
hard-hitting one, is
Yeah.
about stamp duty in Victoria. I think it's the highest in Australia. Is that correct? And are we trying to get that down?
Look, it used to be, and we tried for
We
a
did get down a
decade.
bit, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
The RIB we really were a thorn in the side of certainly John Brumby, and I used to have robust discussions about stamp duty. But it's fair to say that this government currently, the first thing they did is they decided to reduce stamp duty for first home buyers by about 50% over 4 years. It's at 40% now. So if you're a first home buyer, you get a 40% reduction on stamp duty. What they did do recently, which we disagree with, and I know why they did it, they wanted to stimulate construction. They took the first homeowners grant away from established buildings to new construction. Okay. Now, whilst I know why that policy decision was made, we have proof, and we've shown the government, that 75% of first home buyers buy established. So by throwing money at construction isn't necessarily going to mean an increase in construction. It might mean an increase in building costs, but if 75% of first home buyers want to buy an apartment or a townhouse that's already constructed in and around the CBD, then they're not going to get the first homeowners grant, which is unfair. I think it's about equity. Everybody who's a first homeowner should be able to get the same grant.
Enzo, it's been great to speak to you today. Lots of interesting information. One of the things Philip and I are very keen to know about is how excited the REIV may be to sponsor GPTV on a weekly basis. It's really a good investment, I think, in the REIV. Any thoughts around that?
Oh, look, we'll have to consider it on the basis of our broader budget, and by all means, put in a submission, and we'll have a look at it.
We'll be filling one in and leaving it on your desk.
Yeah, that's a Steve Brax, wasn't it? Yeah, so I'll have to look into that one. Yes. I mean, the other thing also, I've got a son coming into real estate who's 16, and he's thinking about it and talking about it.
Yep.
And we had on GPTV a few weeks ago a fellow making a cake in our community, baking a banana cake.
Mm-hmm.
And Philip was of the view that was very important, and I'm just wondering whether you think that's important in modern day real estate, that you have a internet-based show that has cake bakers on it.
Well, it was cake bakers. I think that's a bit of an undersell.
Oh, okay.
Chef Momo is a pastry chef and a man that is responsible for some of the best cakes in Melbourne. And I thought we should just bring that in to demonstrate that we're in touch with the home
and the community.
Yeah, and the community.
In fact, one thing
it
I think
puts the nice human touch and human side of
I mean, we
real
can't
estate.
spend our entire GPTV interviewing Enzo with this political comment.
Well, what I do after...
You're right, Philip. I have to concede. If he says you're right, then you're right.
Look, what I do after a hard week at the REIV is I cook on the weekends, because I find it very therapeutic and relaxing, and I like to get in and make a nice curry or some pasta.
Okay, so before we close, what is your signature dish?
Oh, my signature dish has to be a kofta curry. It's an Indian meatball curry, which is a favourite of mine, and it's very nice.
Indian meatball curry.
And no, we're not going to have to follow Enzo him to make it, Philip.
I'll come in and make it for you one day.
There
you go.
Got that one on camera. Very good. Very,
all right.
very
Well,
good.
for those viewers that are interested in Enzo's signature dish, please send us an email to ideas@garypeer.com.au, and I'm sure we can get him to email you back the ingredients.
I can email the recipe to you, and you can distribute it.
I can't believe what's going on.
The ratings for this show are going to soar.
They're going to be soaring.
And then let me know how you go with the curry.
We will. Thank you very much. Well, we have a web, ideas@garypeer.com.au. You can respond on that. I guess the last thing, agents are very involved in the community, and I think it's one of the things that it doesn't get said.
No.
But, you know, I look, and it's not just us, but even right across the board. You know, you drive through suburbs, there's people sponsoring fates and sponsoring, you know, different causes, and whether it's the Royal Children's Hospital or whether it's this cause or for cancer or Pink Lady, there's always something going on with agents are doing, and people say, oh, well, that's just good for your business because you get your name out there. But I think as an industry, there tends to be a really good push of supporting and endorsing community.
I have to say that estate agents or the real estate industry are good corporate citizens in that regard. You know, in fact, so much so that we have an award at our annual awards night of you know, the charity that's actually given away the most or done something for the community. And most agencies do support different charities and different things. I know that the REIV has the Real Estate Institute Foundation, which during the bushfires, during the floods, during the tsunami, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of donations were made because of our members and through our members and with the REIV. And I know, as I said, that most of them do contribute to the local community, to the schools, to whatever causes there are in the community, and the broader area in medical research. So yes, I'd have to say, as an industry, real estate is a good corporate citizen in that regard.
Well, that's a good positive note and good to hear, and a nice note to finish on. And I must say, it's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that people are enlightened by what's going on. Not only, of course, I'm sure it's a delight for all of you to meet Enzo, as we have many times, but also just to know a little bit more about the REIV, of which we're, of course, members of, as our most good real estate agents.
Proud members.
Proud members, indeed. So thank
great
you
to
very
have
much.
Enzo Raimondo from the REIV on the show today.
Thanks very
Enzo.
much. Thanks,
Thank
Enzo.
you.
Thanks so much for being part
Thank
of it.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.